Welcome to Dolphins Today by Chat Sports, where we have some unfortunate news when it comes to the Miami Dolphins here after this Thursday night football game against the Buffalo Bills regarding quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. He has a long, extensive history of concussions in the NFL, having 2 confirmed concussions in 2022, and it forced him to miss a lot of time. And now we have a 3rd confirmed concussion after tonight's game. He scrambled late in the 3rd quarter when the Dolphins were down 31-10. On a must-have first down play. He scrambled up the middle, collided with Damar Hamlin, and he got hit. His neck kind of jerked back. His head went back, and then he hit the deck, and it looked bad. That 2022 game against the Cincinnati Bengals really comes back to mind when he had the fencing, as they call it, motion with his hands where he just lost control, and it was involuntary. And it happened again in this game. And that's now the 2nd time that's happened in his NFL career. He did luckily get up under his own power and walk to the locker room with the help of trainers. He did walk a little wobbly and was gingerly walking off the football field, but he did do it on his own merit, which is a very positive sign because remember in that Bengals game, he got carted off and was stretchered out of that game. So this is at least a step in that positive direction. But either way, the 3rd time that it's been officially diagnosed as a concussion, which you just saw on screen, the Dolphins already announced he was out for the game relatively immediately with a concussion. Like, that is a quick diagnosis. It doesn't really, it's not a surprise by any means, but it is very clear that he has a concussion. And that's the 3rd one. This is going to be larger than football. In this conversation about Tua and this Dolphins team goes beyond football. It does. I know a lot of people in the comment section, a lot of Dolphins fans are going to be asking me what's next for this team. I can't think like that right now. We will have those discussions coming up, but all that I care about is Tua and his long-term health. He has a family. I want to make sure he can have the rest of his life with his family. And the fact that he's already had 3 concussions in the NFL with multiple others, by the way, that have not been officially diagnosed. You go back, this happened against the Bills. You go back in 2022 with that game against Buffalo where he got hit hard and then faltered getting up and he stumbled. And a lot of people thought he should have been pulled out of that game with a concussion, but he wasn't. And then the next week it happens where he gets the injury with the Cincinnati Bengals. He has a serious concussion history, and that is scary. Let's be honest. If he came out tomorrow and retired, I wouldn't be surprised. It's not going to happen, obviously, but when you have this many head injuries, it is bigger than the game of football. It is. And if I'm going to be honest, anybody who gets in the comment section and bashes Tua and calls him out, you're going to be gone. I won't stand for it because this is bigger than the Miami Dolphins. This is bigger than the game of football. This is all about someone's life, about his family, and his livelihood. It's just not good. And I want to read off this tweet, by the way, from Chris Nowinski, who's a doctor, 60K followers on Twitter. He said after watching the play, Tua suffered a traumatic brain injury on this play, no question. His right arm shows the fencing posture, which we talked about. They didn't show it on the replay in the game, but off live, you could tell that his fingers went up and he had no control like he did in that game against Cincinnati. It said indicating loss of consciousness, and he is on the severe end of the concussion spectrum. He is done for the night and must miss the next game. To me, there is no doubt that he will not be playing in the next game for the Miami Dolphins. The question is if he's going to ever play again for this Dolphins team, because I said this during our live show and our live stream of the Bills game, the Thursday night game. I said if I was Tua and if I was in his shoes and I just suffered my 3rd concussion in the 2nd out of the 3, by the way, where the fencing posture ensued, I would retire. I would. Because who gives a crap? I'm being dead serious. What is the game of football in terms of your livelihood, right? And that is what seriously could be in doubt for Tua long term. It's scary to even think about. It really is. And this game for Miami was an absolute disaster from a start, and it sucks to see when you're down 21 late in the third quarter that this type of injury happens to Tua, because there is no one who is a nicer guy than Tua. He is great for this community. His teammates absolutely love him. They rally around him. They support him. Him and Mike McDaniel have a fantastic relationship. They are really tight, and they are really close. And it just sucks that your leader, your guy, who everyone likes, I don't think there's one person in that Dolphins organization that it can say anything poor about Tua and his character, that this happens to him. It's terrible. And it's really, really sad to see, man. It is. And I want everyone to send their prayers and thoughts to Tua. I'm certainly doing that. It's a sad situation, dude. It really, really is. And I just want him to just get right. I want his family to be okay. And I hope that he gets better going forward. And if he has to step away from the game of football, you're not going to hear any complaints from me, because all I care about him is having a full life outside of this game and for the rest of his life. I don't want to have him damage anything long term and have severe CTE. He's probably already got a higher chance to have it than anyone else with 3 concussions, if we're going to be honest. We do have to quickly give a shout-out to Prize Picks, because we wouldn't be able to do any of this without them. They are the #1 daily fantasy sports app and platform in America, and I play Prize Picks on a daily basis, whether it's a Dolphins game, whether it's a baseball game, a basketball game, it doesn't matter, or I'm just watching football on Sundays. More than 5 million active members playing on a daily basis, and unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can get the winnings up to 100 times your money right now with as little as 4 correct picks. And well, take advantage of this special from Prize Picks while you still can. Caleb Williams gets you 1 win on Prize Picks every week, because all he needs is 1 passing yard. That's right, only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend. It's September. Take advantage right now. You still have 3 weekends of football to get those W's, because it's gone when September ends. You can find celebrities to play alongside as well. Drewski, Joe Budden, MMA champ Sugar Sean O'Malley. You can find their plays under the promos tab, community plays, to view all of their entries. It's really cool to play alongside them. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need the win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's stream and show. That link will be in the description and comments of today's video. Prize Picks, run your game. Unfortunately, Tua's injury is not the only one that we have to talk about, because Terron Armstead also left this game for the Miami Dolphins. We know that he's had a long injury history himself, dating back to his time in New Orleans and with Miami. He left in the third quarter as well and did not return, and it was reported that he was getting x-rays on his shoulder. Kendall Lamb stepped up and had to play for the Fins at left tackle. And that was honestly part of the reason why this game didn't go the way Miami would hope it did in the second half. Like, right before the drive that Tua had led before the injury, which is where he gets it at the 4 or 5 yard line, the play before that, or the drive before that, the last play, Tua threw a pick 6. And it was a bad play. I called him out for it, and it wasn't great. But the reason why he was under pressure is because Terron Armstead was in the game, and Kendall Fuller and Lester Cotton, who, by the way, came in and replaced Robert Jones, who got benched because of how bad he was playing, got beat right away. And then Tua had to throw off his back foot trying to get out of bounds, and it got pick 6, which basically ended the game. So now we have to wait on Terron Armstead's injury. And I tell you what, this Dolphins team that had Super Bowl aspirations, AFC East division title aspirations, those might have just went out the window. Like, I don't want to be the negative Nancy here, but if Tua's done long-term, which is a very real possibility with his concussion and his injury, and then your left tackle, who is paid a lot of money, is known as one of the top guys in the league, like, he's gone, like, you might see a lot more Patrick Paul, your second-round pick, out of Houston. I got to be honest. I'd rather see him than Kendall Lamb. I think Kendall Lamb's a good swing tackle, but if your season's going to be like this, why not get the Rook valuable reps, because he might be your long-term left tackle. Like I said earlier, I don't really want to talk about what could happen in the next 48 hours in terms of Dolphins adding a quarterback to this roster. Know a lot of people are going to want me to talk about that. Trade targets, free agent targets. We'll talk about it. But first, I just want to make sure Tua is okay. One more time, recapping the news here. Left the game in the third quarter late with a concussion. It was a bad injury. He immediately went down. His teammates called over for help immediately. They realized what happened because Tua looked like he lost consciousness. He had that fencing position that people have talked about when you just lose your ability to control and the hands go up involuntary, which happened against the Bengals 2 years ago. Looked like it happened again tonight. The only difference between those 2 nights is this. Tua got up under his own power and walked to the locker room alongside some trainers. In the Bengals one, he got taken off on a stretcher. It's really disappointing to see, and I'm going to really hope that he is okay. Once again, prayers up to him and his family because we only hope that they are healthy going forward and are the best. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. We will cover things going forward, and like I said, make sure you subscribe because we will break down what this means for Miami long term, and we'll cover more news that comes out from Tua and this team. But make sure you hit that sub button because we'll have you covered. Appreciate everyone for watching. Like I said, prayers up to Tua.